In this video, we're creating a seamless floral Ogee pattern entirely in Procreate. You can use any canvas size that you would like for this, but you want to make sure that it's square. My canvas is 2500 pixels by 2500 pixels at 300 dpi. I work in the display P3 color profile, but if you have an older iPad and don't have access to that, then the default sRGB color profile is perfectly fine. I'll provide the color palette that I'm using and links to everything mentioned in this video right in the video description. In order to create this style of pattern, we'll need an Ogee template, so I'll also provide this Ogee stamp brush for free, and I'll put that under the video as well. So I'm going to change my color to black. I've got that stamp selected, and I'm just going to tap it in with my finger, select it, and down here you just want to tap Fit to Canvas, and now we've got the template to put all of our elements in. I'm going to create a brand new layer, and I'm going to now navigate to my Bouquet Maker brush set and into the flat supporting floral brushes. I like using the Bouquet Maker for this whenever I'm creating a floral pattern because I can just see all the different types of flowers right away to get an idea of how I want my pattern to feel, what types of shapes I want inside my pattern. So I've selected supporting number 21. I like kind of over-trying my patterns a lot. I like really filling them up. So I wanted to keep my flower shape a little bit more on the simpler side since I'll be drawing a lot of them. So if I tap this in, we can kind of take a look at the shapes of these flowers. So I'm not going to just keep using the stamp. I'm actually going to be drawing each flower from scratch, but because it's a really simple looking flower, that won't be a problem. So that's kind of my process. I find a floral shape that I know I can repeat pretty easily on my own, and then I'll freehand what the pattern looks like. So next I'm going to go into my flat extras, which is part of the Bouquet Maker brush set, grab my Edgy ink brush, which is one of my favorite drawing and lettering brushes, create a brand new layer, and now I'm going to add in those flowers. So I like keeping this kind of off to the side as a reference so I can look at those shapes and just be reminded at what they look like as I'm working through it. On this brand new layer, with my Edgy ink brush selected, I'll start adding in those flowers. So I've got my stem coming up, the transition area between the stem and the petals, and then I'll just add in as close as I can come to the edge of the Ogee template. I'll start adding in these flowers. So then it begins looking like this Ogee shape. Once I have all of my flowers kind of roughed in, then I'll add in the leaves to all of the stems. And when I'm drawing the leaves, I get pretty close to the edge of my template just to make sure whenever I have the opportunity to make it more obvious that I'm using this Ogee shape. Now that I have my flowers, I'm going to add in some supporting filler elements just to fill in all the gaps and take care of all this white space. So I've got two filler elements that I want to use, and they're two different sizes. So the first one is kind of a medium-sized little branch that's going to mimic the shapes of the stems with the leaves, and then the other one is just a cute little daisy flower that I'll tuck into any remaining spaces where it feels a little awkward or just too much white space. So let's add in those stems first. Now that we've got all of our supporting elements in, it's time to take care of any remaining white space with the little daisy elements. So this is very, very simple. It's a 5-petal flower. So I'm just going to add these in into any areas where I see some space that's just a little uncomfortable with the amount of space that's there. All right, that feels pretty good now. We can turn off the visibility of our little sample flower, and looking at everything, I just do one quick once over, see if anything's glaring or sticking out to me or if I want to change the position of anything. This is our pattern sketch, and we'll be going over it with color and filling it all in. So I like having my sketch in a really good place before I start adding in the color, because then it's just fun. Then you just fill it in with color and decoration, and you don't have to really think about placement too much. So we're getting all the hard work out of the way with completing our sketch first. All right, let's begin filling out our pattern. So I'm going to create a brand new layer, and I did make this color palette for free right in the video description. So for my flowers, I've decided I'm going to do a red flower and a pink flower and kind of alternate them. Obviously, feel free to do whatever you would like, flower type, scale, and color choices. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab my red color first. I'm still using my Edgy ink brush to fill all of this in. I just love how well this brush works for illustration. It's got a little texture on the edge, and it's very opaque, so it's easy to color drop. And we're going to be doing a lot of that as we fill fill this out. So I'm going to use this one first, and all you need to do is trace what you've already done. So pretty easy, kind of mindless activity, but also really fun too. So I'll do this one next, and I can lower the opacity of my sketch layer just so I can see what I'm drawing on top of it a little bit better. I keep all of my layers separate as I work, so each color has its own layer, so then I can go in and adjust things if I ever need to in the future. Okay, create a brand new layer, and now we'll do our pink ones. So I need to switch to my pink color and fill in the rest of these. I've also decided to make all of my little daisy filler elements pink. So as long as I'm on my pink layer, I'll take care of those as well. So for each one of these, if you make your brush large enough, you should be able to just press down hard on it since it's pressure sensitive. So you could create your petals that way if you want to work a little faster, or you can draw them in individually, which is what I'm going to do. All right, I've got all of my little daisies colored in now, and now let's add some detail to our petals just to give it a lot more personality. So I'm going to create a brand new layer. I'm going to switch to my red color again, and this time on this brand new layer, we're going to apply a clipping mask. So tap on the layer thumbnail and choose clipping mask. So for each one of these pink flowers, I'm just going to change up the weight on this brush. I mentioned that it's pressure sensitive. So if you go light pressure, light pressure, you're going to get some nice line variation, which will look really pretty with these little texture lines that I'm going to put into all of my pink flowers. And as long as I still have my red and I'm above the pink layer, I'm going to add in stamens to all of my daisies. So I'm just going to pop a little dot inside each of these. All right, and now we're going to do the exact same thing, only to the red flowers now using pink. So I'm going to come on the layer right above my red flowers, create a brand new layer, apply clipping mask. So tap on the layer thumbnail and choose clipping mask. And then we're going to switch back to our pink color and do the exact same thing with these texture lines. All right, the only thing we have left now is to complete the stems for our flowers and to add some color to our foliage supporting elements. So I'm going to take care of the stems on the flowers first. So I'm going to create a brand new layer at the very top of all of my layers. I'm going to switch to my gold color, which is the third color on the top row, and just paint in each of these. So just remember that because this is on top of the petals now in our layers, we're going to be drawing directly above the petals just to clean up this bottom edge so you can't see where all these lines meet at the bottom. So that's why this is the layer above them. And while I'm creating the stem, I'm also going to be adding in the leaves. And it's okay to not follow your sketch perfectly. Change things up as you go. If you think a different decision will work better for the way things are coming out, then just change course. The sketch is just there to support you and give you some reference as you're painting everything in for your final artwork, but you definitely do not have to follow it exactly. Let's fill all of our stem elements in with color now. So just drop the color, hit continue filling, and then tap in all of the open areas. All right, next we're going to add in a little bit of detail to the leaves on our flower stems. Because it's our main focal point in our pattern, these big, beautiful flowers, we want to make them more interesting than just completely flat color. So all I'm going to do is just add another layer of color into the leaves and give them a little bit more shape. I'm going to create a brand new layer, tap on the layer thumbnail and choose clipping mask, and then change to the lightest gold color. Next, I'm going to come into each leaf and kind of give it a curved edge and then fill it in. So this is what that's going to look like. Make sure all your gaps are filled in, and I'll go around and do this for each leaf. All we have left now are the supporting leaf elements, so I'm going to put those underneath the red layer. So I'm going to come down to the very bottom, right above my sketch layer, create a brand new layer, and then change to the lightest kind of green color, so it's the second one on the second row, and we'll paint those in. If you'd like to learn more about creating seamless repeat patterns entirely in Procreate, then I'll leave a link on screen and in the video description to my online course, Floral Patterns in Procreate, and I'll even add an extra discount code in there as well. All right, we've got all of our supporting elements in here now. I'm going to turn off the sketch layer since we've drawn everything in now, and let's fill in those leaves by color dropping. Our leaves are complete, so let's add in our background color. Come to the very bottom of all of your visible layers, create a brand new layer, and we're going to grab the darkest green color, drag that in. And next, we're going to turn off our Ogee template, so all you have are visible layers of the pattern. Next, we're going to group all of those layers together, and we're going to make sure that we have 5 groups. So we need to make 4 duplicates. Slide it to the left and choose duplicate, and just make sure you have a total of 5 groups. Now we're going to turn all of the groups off except for the last one at the bottom. We're going to come to our wrench, go to Canvas, Drawing Guide, Edit Drawing Guide. Down here, increase your grid size to max and change the color if you're using the same color palette. So just tap on the color bar up at the top, and it's still kind of hard to see, so I'm going to increase the thickness and the opacity here, and then hit done. Next, go into your layers and make sure that the group that's visible is selected. We're going to select it now. Come down here and under snapping, make sure magnetics and snapping are both turned on. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit, and I'm going to drag this layer to the upper left corner, the entire group. And it'll snap in there if you have your magnetics and snapping turned on. Next, we're going to turn off the visibility of that group, turn on the next group right above it, select it, and then drag this one to the upper left until it snaps. Come to your layers, turn off the visibility of that group, turn on the visibility of the next group right above it, make sure that group is selected, and then move this one to the bottom left until it snaps. And you've probably guessed it already, the next one we're going to select and we're going to move to the bottom right corner. Once you have all of those complete, you can turn on the visibility of the 4 groups that you just moved. Now we have this blank space in the middle, which is for the top group. And the top group contains all of your layers and all of your artwork, which is not cropped off your canvas. So if you ever need to change anything, you can duplicate that top group and you're working with the same artwork that you had before. So it's more non-destructive that way. We're going to turn on that group, and all we have to do in order to see what's underneath it is to turn off the visibility of the background color. So just down here, we're just going to toggle that off, and now we can see all of our artwork. I'm going to toggle that up, come to my wrench in the canvas category and toggle off drawing guide. We don't need that anymore. And this is our completed repeat tileable pattern. This is considered a full drop pattern. And if you'd like to learn more about pattern types, then I have an entirely free cheat sheet, which you can download right at this link or at the link in the video description. It explains everything with examples, so it's super helpful to have on hand as a reference whenever you're creating new patterns. All right, let's test this pattern out and see it in action. All you need to do this is 3-finger swipe, copy all, come to your layers, create a brand new layer up at the very top, 3-finger swipe again, and choose paste. Now we've got the entire pattern as a flattened piece of artwork up at the top. We'll head into Safari now to test our patterns. I'm just going to toggle up from the bottom of my screen, grab Safari, and drag it to the left side of my screen. This is the Pattern Playground. You can find it at patternplayground.com. This is a completely free pattern checking tool that my husband developed, and you can easily check full drop, half drop, and half brick patterns. You can change the scale, you can even change the color and download them. So in order to use this, it's super simple. All you need to do is come into Procreate, grab that top layer with the flattened artwork, and drag it into the Pattern Playground. And there's our repeat pattern, but right now it defaults as a half drop, and we created a full drop pattern. So just tap on full drop, and now we can see our pattern repeating exactly as we intended. We can change the size of it. Let me make this full screen so you can really get an idea of what you can do here. So I can reduce the size so I can see what it looks like at a small scale. At a large scale, I can alter the color. So if I tap on color right here, I can change the color. I can change the different blend modes. So I can preview different color palettes here. So it's a nice way to experiment and play around with different colors for the different types of patterns that you create. And if you don't like the settings that you've applied, all you have to do is hit reset, and then you're back to your normal pattern. If you'd like to save this and create mockups with it later, just keep in mind that this is a web resolution pattern preview image. So you can download it by hitting save image right here, hit download. It'll be saved into your downloads. So in this drop down, you can tap on that. It'll open it up on its own screen. Then you can hit the little export icon right here and just hit save image, and that'll save it to your camera roll. This way you don't have to manually tile it in Procreate to be able to see it mocked up on different applications. Once again, everything that was mentioned in this video is right in the video description, and I'll see you next time.